Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Sudip Maiti, career designer. Welcome to Classroom to Boardroom Talk Show. This is the episode number 31, and we have gathered here enlighten you about the different ways by which the transition can be happen from classroom to boardroom. And during this journey, there is lot of challenges, lot of hurdles will be happen. And how you have overcome those challenges or hurdles that we will discuss in this particular discussion. Take charge of your career and listen to the different eminent person who have excelled in their own fields. Today we have invited one of the great personality who is an influencer, author, coach and mentor. He is on a mission to impact the 50 lakhs lives through recruiter. He believes that nothing can be stopped the individual to become a successful because any skill can be learned and mastered with dedications. He has spent over 18 years in US IT recruiting industry. Let's hear from him. I am pleased to welcome Mr. Suman Pachikula with thunderous rounds of applause. And today we will talk about the career path of a recruiter. Welcome, Mr. Suman. So, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, Sudhiji, and good evening, viewers. And thank you so much for having me here. And I'm so glad that what you are doing for the individuals here. And I have seen your episodes that you invite influencers, industry experts that can help job seekers and who wants to get into the highest level of their career. And I'm sure it is going to be helpful for other people as well. Thank you so very much once again, Sudhirji, for inviting me. And yes, as you have mentioned that the challenges from someone from a classroom to the boardroom, it is definitely going to be hurdlesome and challenging. But as you know, when people give up, that is what the primary losing point, rather than someone who doesn't give up and wait to see, let me see what is there if I do not quit. And that is what happened with me when I started my career as a recruiter during 2004 2005 when I came to Hyderabad. It was extremely challenging for me because I'm from a middle class family and I've never been to an English medium school. I studied in Odia medium, and that is where I completed my graduation as well. And I really did not know how to speak to people and how to introduce ourselves and how to communicate what we wanted to communicate. And now I did not know this could be very challenging when I reached Hyderabad for looking for a job. And I spent money which I borrowed from my parents, and they borrowed it from somewhere. I did not know that. And now the challenge was everything is good with them, but the one reason why they did not select is you cannot speak proper English because you might need to talk to so many individuals. What sort of positions? I was looking for call center, BPOs, recruiting and sales, tech support, anything that could pay me. I went there for an interview. And believe me, Sudebji, it was extremely tough time. And the reason why I am here, because I believe I did not feel the mm, the end point of frustration. Do you understand, right? When people give up. So that thing I did not feel. So that maybe, I don't know, it's that inner thing is there, or I did not think about that. Keep jada ho gaya. It's enough is enough now. So I did not get to the saturation point. So here, coming back to the interview part, I faced more than 30 to 40 interviews before I got into this opportunity. And prior to that, it was more than a year when I was connecting with so many interviewers, and the suggestion was you cannot speak proper English. And for me, I have no idea why they are saying like that. And I'm sure they're right about it. So what they said, they said it is about your MTI. MTI is mother tongue influence. And when I was talking, my mother tongue, since I was from Odisha and from West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, and from Jharkhand, we have a deep mother tongue influence. So here, so for example, it's a, for fish, I used to say piss. Issue is sue. Zigzag, it should be zigzag. Now, from my end, everything is fine because never I got corrected by anybody else, because this is how I speak to my teachers or any friends, or maybe with my professors. I used to speak like this, whatever the knowledge they had. But I did not know this is the thing which is going to stop me to get a job and look at myself as a suspicion that I'm good for nothing. But I was wrong at that point of time. Why? Because if I did not went ahead of proving myself right that I could do anything else, I would not have been sitting here and speaking with you, Sudipji. So when the feedback came in that there is a lot of deep MTI and you are grammatically very wrong, and this conversation, this kind of language is not going to be suitable for someone who is going to talk to international audience. Now I was devastated because I need to spend more money on my communication, but still I could able to manage and invest on my communication. How? I joined a spoken English class. For 2 3 months, I was working on my communication, and I learned each and every word with phonetics. And from there, I cracked my interview and I got the job. And that is where my journey started to become a recruiter. And from there, I did not look back. And I'm really thankful for the people who taught me how to become a recruiter. And I'm so grateful. His name is Chandrasekhar. Currently, he's working as a manager in Smart IMS. And he is my mentor when he introduced all these things to me. And he suggested me, he pushed me to become a recruiter. And because of him, and because of my cousin, then who was in Indian Army, now he's a colonel. So he helped me a lot. So I definitely need to thankful to the people who helped me at my initial stages. So we should not forget about those people. They are always my heroes and my mentors and motivation for me as well, Sudevji.
Great to know about your story. Your story is really inspiring. So it's a similar situation for me also, the same thing. Yeah. So I was the almost my career starting point. I failed almost the 17 to 18 interview, I could remember,
Hmm.
because of my communication skill itself. And yeah, somehow the 18th or the 19th interview, I cracked the interview, and that is the journey I have started as a
Great,
sales
great.
executive. After being an engineer in masters in engineering, I started my career in sales. Then
Hmm.
from there I move into the IT, and now in the I'm working as a one of the IT company as a IT program managers. Yeah, so
Glad to
I
know
never
that.
look back after that that things. But the only thing is that I feel that so I start learning every day, daily
Hmm.
basis. You have to learn something. You should not stop learning. That is the only motivation. I till now I used to adapt that particular things in my career journey always.
Wow.
And even though in my office, within my team itself,
Hmm.
the those were the junior team member also, I've start talking to them and try to learn new things from them.
Hmm.
Because it's not only the technology, forget about the technology. Other than the technology, there is a lot of things you can adapt
Correct.
from the different people. That kind of the attitude you should have. You should not feel that you are the leader, you are the manager, you know everything. No
Very
one
true.
knows anything. Yeah. So that's the thing. Yeah, your story is really inspiring. Yeah,
Thank
as
you.
today's topic is the career path in terms of the recruiters,
Hmm.
I just want to ask you the one thing. So,
Sure.
what are the career paths for a recruiter? So, if you give some kind of the light on that particular aspects, so there's
Hmm.
those who are the audience, those who want to build their career as a recruiter, they will get
Yes.
to know and they can feel that, so they can be a recruiter in future.
No, absolutely. So thank you so much once again for giving me this opportunity to share what exactly is very close to my heart, Sudhirji. All right. And as you said, the profession as a recruiter has a lot of open opportunities for those people at this point of time. Never before it happened, but at this point of time, if you see in Naukri or Monster anywhere, there are thousands of openings for recruiters, and so many companies are looking for recruiters. Now, when we say recruiters, it means good recruiters. So for to have the good recruiters, and we are talking once again about the career path for the good recruiters and eligible recruiters. Now, as we continue our conversation, I'm going to share what can differentiate a good recruiter with not a good recruiter, sort of. All right, sir. So here, when we see the career path, so someone who start as their career as a recruiter. So we have different varieties of recruiting. One is corporate recruiting, one is agency recruiting. So in the agency recruiting, we have domestic and we have international recruiting. So in corporate recruiting, if you are good at technology and you are good at communication, and definitely that is going to help for the individual to work with the bigger companies in a corporate environment so that they can help the company hire people for them. Now that is one way you become a corporate recruiter. So with that, what happens? You will be knowing the internal product information, the company culture, and you will be having a close connection with the hiring managers. And with that, the recruiter can help a lot of people to get jobs. So because that is the only motivation that as a recruiter we need to have, rather than my own salary, how I can help someone can draw their salary in while working with some other company. All right. And before I go to the career opportunities, what is very much important for someone to look at themselves as that I am in a profession which is very much respectable. And here, what is the market trend now? What is that people think is we as a recruiter has a very bad opinion in the market as a recruiter as a whole. Why? Because you talk to people, but you never come back with the feedback. You never respond to our emails. You never respond to the calls. Well, I got to agree because some people do that. At the same time, there are very responsible recruiters who talk to the candidates and who always there in the journey with them till they get placed. So both the sides are there. So now coming to the career side, someone can be a corporate recruiter, someone can be agency recruiter. Agency recruiter can work as a domestic recruiter for Indian clients to place Indian candidates, or can work in India to place US candidate with US clients. So that is US IT recruiting. Like that, someone can be a Canada recruiter, UK recruiter, APAC recruiter, Europe recruiter. So, so many opportunities for the people to become a recruiter, and not just only the recruiter. Because when we say someone started as their career as a recruiter, they should not end in the same place after 10 years. So that person needs to evolve every time so that other opportunities can come towards that individual. So from recruiter to the senior to the lead to the manager, senior manager, director, AVP, that sort of possibilities are there, Sudeepji, for a recruiter. And not only recruiting, you can transition yourself. If you're good at communication and you're good at your connection and relationship building or networking, you can be a good business development manager. And a recruiter can be a good client relationship specialist, or a manager, client relationship manager. Or any recruiter, if they are working with MSPs, they can be a program coordinator, program manager, program director. So these sort of opportunities are there. And coming to the education part, I'm not going to take much time, and this is very much important. There is IT and non-IT recruiting is there. Who hire for IT people, who hire for non-IT people. Now, there are companies who need technical background for recruiters, but there are so many companies who are going to hire people who are willing to work as a recruiter even though they do not have any technical degree. And the current situation is like that. Because of the market after corona, there are so many things went online. Companies are offering remote opportunities, and there are so many startups who are taking risk and investing. So there are a lot of opportunity, and technology become so trendy now. You see the artificial intelligence came in, so many things are very rapidly it is evolving. So for that, even they need a lot of manpower, and for that what happened is a lot of opportunity opened up. Now you as a recruiting company owner, if you have a client who wants to have a business through you, but who is going to hire the manpower for you? You definitely look for a recruiter. Now at this situation, what happened is not only the bachelors, but if a teacher with a good communication skills becoming a recruiter, housewife who wants to start her career or his career, can become a recruiter. Someone is working in a different industry, or someone doing coding and he doesn't love or she doesn't love coding can transition into recruiting. So that sort of opportunities is now to work to start your career as a recruiter, Sudebji. And yes, there will be pros and cons, and you know that every industry, every job has a pros and cons. Now it depends how you are taking your career to the next level. But according
Yes.
to me, yes, this is very much lucrative job for any individual who would like to try their luck here.
That's true. That's true. So just one thing, just want to know about a recruiter is the part of the HR or the it's a separate kind of the activity, because the in the corporate industry I could see the
Hmm.
recruitment is the part of the HR process itself.
Hmm.
So my questions to you: so can recruiter become a HR journalist, or the yeah, or there
No.
might be that someone has to do something for getting the position as a HR journalist?
So here, HR generalist gets into more of functional or could be a non-voice role. So meaning once a person gets on board, so the paperwork, documentation, the payroll things, or and induction, so many things come in. Now
Hmm.
here, when we are talking about a recruiter, so what happens is if you start as a recruiter, we will give you a requirement, and it's your duty to go and find an individual who fits the need. Now, after you screen the individual, the person goes and talks to the hiring people who is primarily involved for the project, whoever it is. Now, if technical screening is done, and then the offer, who releases the offer? The HR team releases the offer. If we are talking about the domestic side, all right, and the same happens on the US side as well. HR team is primarily who does the documentation part, background check part, the pay slip, whatever they need to send, and more all of monitoring part. But here, when recruiter's job is to bring the candidate till the hiring part, that is what the
So that
duty is
that means
basically.
the bringing the right candidate for the right positions. That is the part of the recruiters.
You just nailed it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, good. And another thing, just want to know. So you know that now the recession has came into the pictures, and
Hmm.
as a recruiter, what kind of the suggestion you want to give to the all the those who want to looking for their bright future and all? What kind of the suggestion as a recruiter you want to give it to them?
No, absolutely. This is one of the burning questions that currently prevailing, and it is very much true that US is experiencing recession. So when it coming to the employment part, so what is the report of SIA? What is the report of Forbes? Says that few of the industry experts think that this is not going to impact much of the people as it has done in 2008 and lasted till 19 months, until it need to recover, till we need to wait for 2014 and 16. It took 7-8 years for the general household people to go get back to their jobs and get the same salary which they lost in the previous job what they had. But that's what they say. But if it is, if we take it technically as a recession, yes, because it has been consecutively 2 quarters that in US GDP has come down. So that is one of the things what they say. But again, the experts are saying it can recover very fast. It's not a bigger problem. But here, so we should not be thinking more of whether it is going to be a recession or not, because we cannot stop anything that if it needs to happen. Right, Sudipji? We got to be prepared for everything else. Now, what I see in the companies, because I had been and I faced a recession, and I'm sure you also faced a recession during 2008 and that period, right? The 19 months, whatever it stayed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The person who is getting paid more, and if that person doesn't drive any revenue, those are the people primarily in the radar. So here, for the cost cutting will be there. Now for the recruiter, what it is as a recession. Now there are so many small companies are much like it is sprouting like a mushrooms everywhere. Now if you as a recruiter needs to start your career, prepare yourself well, understand how exactly recruiting needs to be done properly and accurately, and work with the bigger companies. That is the first thing, because if recession happens, if they lose some of the clients, other clients will be there. But in startups and small companies, We do not know what is going to happen tomorrow. That is the one thing. Second thing, if you are a senior and you think that your life is comfortable and things are just happening and you are rolling, now that is the one mindset that senior individual has to come out. Why? For example, if you're a senior making 10 lakhs and you are placing one candidate in a month, now another recruiter who is making 5 lakhs and placing one candidate, now as a management, what is the decision that you are going to take, Sudhirji? You're definitely going to think about the
5 lakhs.
person who is making 10 lakhs, right? Whether you need to
Correct.
keep it or not. It is
Correct.
not about the one placement, but it is about if you can hire two people with that rate. Total
Yeah,
three
yeah,
people
that's
can be
true.
working with the 15 lakhs of investment. Now that sort of thought process come in. Bonuses will be cut, incentives will be cut. So for that, the suggestion will be we as a recruiter need to evolve and come out of our comfort zone. If you are owning a company and I'm working as a recruiter and I'm getting paid more, now I got to think how I cannot come into your radar of recession and the firing part. Why? I need to engage myself not only recruiting, but I may need to take some leadership roles. I may need to get some supporting role. I may need to be in the team so that when you see me, definitely you see this person individual is costing me this much, but being me in this company is definitely helping the culture. Not only my productivity is adding to the highest part of the revenue, but other individuals are learning from me. So at that point of time, I just sidetrack your decision on myself that okay, let's leave this candidate, or maybe I'll hire once again. So that won't happen when our contribution adds more to the company's revenue part. So only if I think I'll go to the company, I do my work, and I come home and everything I live up to the luck, and I'll see if anyone joining is joining, not joining is not joining. What I can do, I have done my part. Then that kind of people will be in risk, very sure. And those people who are not taking, who is not going beyond the call of duty, how would that work? So they say, if whatever I do, if I do not keep company's interest ahead of my interest, I will not able to give my 110% to what exactly is required. All the time I'll be thinking about myself. Now it is time for me to think from the company's perspective and for the company. And if it needs to be there in the weekend, I got to be there. If I need to spend 2 more hours, yes, I have to spend. Now this is not to pretend, but it needs definitely needs to result in something so that company will think that this is my asset. Now if an individual from employee, if that person transitions to an asset, now that person can stay in the recession, or that could be a recession proof recruiter, I would say. If you are replaceable, now if you have 5 reasons, if as a recruiter or any individual in the company, if they can find 5 reasons why I cannot be replaceable, they will never be replaceable. You got to find at least 5 reasons. This is the reason I cannot be fired. This is the reason I cannot be fired. These are the reasons why I cannot be fired. Now, if there are not enough reasons, now it is the time for the recruiters or any employee who comes in the radar needs to rework on themselves that how I can make myself in such a way that I will be irreplaceable. That's what the message for me, because when I see the recession happening, this is the first thing that company will take the hunter out, and they take the decisions.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So it's not, it's I would say so. Yeah, it's not only for the recruiter, for the any kind of the person in the
True.
organizations who are growing in the ladder. So definitely, so you should not think about your particular work. You think about the company's mission and vision, and in that aspects, what different kind of the value you can bring to the table for the company. So that will be
Absolutely.
always give you the more advantage, because you think about the monthly you are drawing some salary from the
Mm,
organizations. So that is most important. If you are getting the higher salary, so you are the target one in the first phase of the layoff.
exactly.
So always. So yeah, so you have to be more responsible and you have to be accountable for your company, for your job, or might be that you have to do some extra work which will be
Yes,
help you to sustain in the industry, as well as the it will not only help you, you will be highlighted and focused in front of the managements if you try to do something
absolutely.
more always.
And here, as you added, Sudipji, right thing, that when you are on the top level, most of the people will not do the hands-on work which they were doing previously, right? As a lead, as a manager, will more of a supervising,
Correct.
reporting, and checking, because we are on the process, not in the process. So when
Exactly.
we are on the process, we are not generating any direct revenue for the company. We are like a
Exactly.
cost center for them. So
Exactly.
now people who are direct hands-on, they are doing something directly related which impacts the company's revenue. So as a
Exactly.
senior person, I would suggest as soon as soon as we involve ourselves, that direct contribution to the revenue part. Now that can add another advantage, that yes, this person also does hands-on, or maybe because of his presence, the revenue is growing. If we can bring that sort of results, which should be tangible results, in front of the management, and definitely they can able to retain, and they do not take they want to don't want to take a chance on someone just because of a year of recession, because there are so many founders or various investors, they know what exactly they have to do, only if we are ready to contribute more than what we think about ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. So another thing, just because I am from the IT background, so I know that the how the IT job is stressful. So being a recruiter, what do you feel? Is it really stressful job as a recruiter in the organizations?
You mean
And
recruiter's job?
yeah, so if it is really stressful, so if you can guide some kind of the tips to them so that it will be helping them to come out from the stress, because everywhere there is a target, correct? So you have to
Absolutely.
achieve that target. If you are not able to achieve that target, so definitely there will
Hmm.
be a lot of pressure, peer pressure will be there,
Yes,
supervisor pressure will be there from the bottom sides, so people will be also start pressurizing you. So
exactly.
again, yeah, so how you can manage that particular situations to handle the stress during that
Hmm.
particular situations, if you give some tips to the people, it will be really
Hmm.
helpful for them. Yeah.
Very, very good question, Sudeepji. And and it is very much stressful, because this is more of a number-based industry. This is, and because so here recruiting companies work in this way: we get a requirement from the client, all right, and we go to place an individual, or we need to fill the position, and once the person starts working there, after some time the recruiting company gets paid from the client, and you know that how that engagement works, right? As long as the recruiter or the recruiting company do not place anybody else, forget about the client pressure. The companies thinks that they are just investing from the pocket for nothing, because till a candidate works and submits the timesheet, makes the money, then recruiting company can keep their cut. So till that time, recruiting company is not making any money, and the recruiters are just being paid for what they are doing. That's it. And now in this case, and definitely it is going to be pressure for the individuals, for the employees, because the investors, we need to look from the business point of view why the pressure is coming, right? It is like, yes, if I'm working as a recruiter, someone is going to ask me where are the placements. That's true, but why that is coming? Because they are investors, they are business people, they are investing money on me, and definitely they look for the ROI. Now, when the return on investment is not there, definitely there will be pressure, because they want the money to roll in, because there's someone just not be investing money on you and there is no return coming in. Now, even I have faced such situations when I was working with different recruiting companies, and those times where I go home with no productivity. We call it no submission, meaning without any without any resumes being submitted for the client. I go home because I did not find anything else. And the second days also goes like that. Sometimes things go so bad that for a whole week we will not able to find anything else. Now imagine you as a senior folk, or you are someone who is working in a company for a period of time, and you could not able to present anybody else, that because Once the requirement is been released, the right hiring manager will be sitting idle, the coordinator will be sitting idle, your business development manager sitting idle, your client manager sitting idle, your manager sitting idle, because there is nothing for them to review. Everyone is waiting for you now. Sudeep, please send me a resume, we'll do something. Now here recruiter comes, I do not have anything else now. Imagine what is that going to happen to whole chain, right, sir? Now this is one part. And not only one requirement, every day we as a recruiter need to work on multiple requirements, because that is the kind of situation, fast paced environment where we are working. The client wanted people faster and faster. Now if a recruiter could not able to submit more, there will be a mental pressure and self doubt also kicks in. Am I not good for anything else? Why things are not happening with me? And when others are submitting, others are getting placements, the self doubt increases more. And that too, if the management is not supportive, if the team lead is not supportive, now you are going to get into a stress zone, which is going to affect your health as well. Sometimes when I was working as a recruiter, Sudhirji, I could not have, when I did not have any productivity, meaning end of the month, if I did not place anybody else, definitely there will be a bigger class, like a scolding from the lead, from the management, from the owner. I used to go to the toilet and cry in there. I used to sit on the desk and cry. And when I go home, because as a US IT recruiter, when I was working, we work in the night shift. It means in the night I stay awake in the office. When I go home, I could not able to get sleep. Why? Because I was thinking about the productivity. Because tomorrow when I go, if nothing happens, again I need to face that same heat once again. Now, when these things go on, what is that happens is recruiters go in a stress level, and that stress zone is very much difficult for someone to handle. They might think, oh my god, I spend so much of time in here. What should I do now? Shall I change my career to IT? Shall I change my career to something else? Why everything is happening to other people, why it is not happening to me? Now
Grass is
from
green in other side. People are thinking.
that's right, exactly. Now only you will find yourself in the stress zone, Sudeepji. So that is the reason most of the recruiter, they cry silently. And for my kind of recruiters, go to toilet and they cry. They'll say, okay, what the hell it is happening? I do not know whether I need to stay here. I leave the company. If I leave the company also, if I need to join somewhere, I go to do the same thing. So what if that management could not able to keep me for more than 2 weeks and they fire me? So it is like a known devil is better than unknown devil. So that is the reason I used to stay in the same company thinking, well, let my productivity prove myself. Because I am not able to prove myself, so let me do something that my productivity will improve. Now here, how someone can manage this stress? This is a stressful situations. And if everything goes well, placement is happening, you are the hero. The moment things do not happen, you are the example for the people that don't be like this person. And people are ready to fire you. Now, first thing is, if the productivity is not happening, so what is productivity here? Productivity is an individual needs to be placed in a company. That is a productivity for a recruiter. To happen that, meaning an offer has to come. Prior to that, interview has to be happened. Prior the interview needs to complete, interview needs to be requested. So prior the interview needs to be requested by the hiring manager, the hiring manager should shortlist the resume. So before the resume gets shortlisted, your manager should send resume to the client. Before your manager should send the client, your resume has to be best, so that 5 other resumes, whatever other people submit, your resume should stand out and go to the client. And before you submit a resume, you need to find a candidate. Before you find a candidate, you need to go and screen the profiles. Before you screen, you need to understand what is the keywords, what is the searching criteria you are using, where you are going, what you are searching. Are you going to the paid portals? Are you going to the free portals? Are you going to the social media? How you are finding that individual? Now after you find that, before you find, did you understand the job? Are you looking for a project manager and you holding a business analyst requirement? Are you screening a database developer profile, but client is looking for a database administrator. Are you looking for a system administrator, but your search string is based upon a desktop's admin? Now, how you do that? For that, a recruiter definitely need to work on their requirement understanding skills. They need to change the things, what they had been doing, what they can do something differently. For example, they can, what if I'm working in one set of portals, I may need to go and find people in different manner. If I have been working on technical roles, I might need to look for some non-technical jobs that I may work on, because I need to take some little bit diversion from my general thinking brain. If you do something which you have been doing, your thinking brain never get itself engaged. You know that, Sudipji, right? We need to do new things so that our thinking brain can get involved and we can able to invent new things. So it comes with how you are approaching an individual after you understand the need properly. If the client is looking for a chef and they want someone to use the knife, chopper, vegetable cutter, and all the ingredients, so I'm not looking for a knife chopper who is using, because I can get them a butcher. So they're not looking for a butcher, they're looking for someone who can use these tools to prepare something else. Understood, sir? That's the primary thing, right? So if your client is looking for a Java and Node.js, so I should know that why the client is looking for Java and Node.js. Because if a front-end person also writes, okay, I worked on an application which is based on Java and Node.js, for that I cannot submit a full stack developer where client is looking for Java and Node.js as a primary, as a technical person. So I need to have that understanding when I screen the resume. And after screening, the presentation skills also very much important. Why? Now there is a lot of competition in the recruiting industry or any other industry per se. If whatever we are presenting, if there is no beautification and if it is not strategic, then why the person who is screening or the hiring manager, I need to have a reason why you should shortlist my resume. As a recruiter, I need to show the hiring manager that you should pick the resume and interview. For that, what is that recruiters are doing? They got to find it. How you differentiate yourself than other recruiters? If you say, sir, what is there to differentiate? Because recruiting is a process and everyone is doing the same thing. Exactly, that's true. But anything that you do, it is only you can only do the way you do it. Nobody else can do the things the way you do it. Now that is what, if I am doing the things, what is my unique flavor? What is my uniqueness? What is my own thought process that I'm bringing to the job? That is very much important. And that makes a recruiter differentiated. That makes a recruiter different compared to other recruiters. And the presentation skills, the closing skills, and how someone can build a rapport with a candidate. Meaning, job seeker is just not a number for me to write on the board, right, sir? If we are not in a like a hospital that a patient goes and they identify like a patient number 1, patient number 2. But this industry, what I have seen is, the more we become transactional, the more we become commercial, the success rate goes down, because there is no bond, there is no emotional attachment, there is nothing. But here, you as a job seeker need a job, but I am looking for just for a resume. Where do you think the matching of the emotion is happening? Maybe that is the reason the recruiters are not able to come out and present themselves in a proper manner, so that the request, the demand should meet with the supply. If you are looking for a job, I should be in a position as a career counselor to give you the best of what you want. If I just look for myself that, okay, my target is to present 5 profiles and I send 5 profiles, that is a human being, that is not a profile. That's what should be my understanding is. How many candidates that I can help place, that should be my target. The more transactional I am, the lesser success I have seen in myself, because every recruiter becomes transactional one or the other space in their experience. And I was also transactional. Things do not go well because I do not see human being as a human being. I see that as a number. And you cannot talk to a number as with emotion. So if you are into stress, no need to panic. because that is normal. If you're not having productivity, no need to worry, that is normal. If your manager, if your lead is scolding, they're shouting at you for not having productivity, that is normal. Because once I collect myself, that I understand, I need to accept the reality, because things are happening, not happening with me, and definitely they're going to scold me. Okay, maybe yesterday was a bad day, let me give my best today. What has gone is gone. My past do not dictate my future. I have all control of myself, that how can I can change my future. Let me focus 100% today, let me help from somebody else. Let me promise to myself, I'm not going to go home if I do not submit one profile, and I give my best. Boom, results will come. So this is multi-billion dollars industry, and who says there is no money? There is money. Companies are paying salary, incentives, bonuses, paid time off, insurance, so many things companies are paying. Now, what is my market share as a recruiter? I need to decide. This is what the message I would like to give for the people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I could remember one small story. So in my last organizations, I was working for handling the one of the new project, and where the so many people are required, and I need to place to the people in front of the client. Okay, I was the program manager for that particular project. I could remember during our call, everyday call with the client was asking me, where is this particular skilled person? This is the number is one. How many has been closed? How many has been opened till now? And first few weeks I could remember, so I couldn't showcase any kind of the projections in front of them, and they told, if you are not showing me your human beings for my project delivery, so the project will be give it to the some other client. And there is a pressure on me, exactly, because if it is moved from my company to the some other company, so I'll be losing the money. So,
Yes.
I could understand exactly. So yeah, so there is a morning I used to attend the call with my resource managers to
Yes.
understand exactly where is the resource where is the resource backbone for this particular project, whether they have started recruiting, or might be the internally they can find out someone who can fit into this particular position or not.
Exactly.
Otherwise, there is no way to face in front of the client. So it's really pathetic situations. So yeah, so
Very true.
recruitment is the one of the great profession of what I would say. So where you can find it
Absolutely.
out the right candidates, it's a demand and supply basically. You
Exactly.
have to, based on the demand, you have to give the supply. If there is a gap, so definitely, so everywhere, so all the business will be ruined basically.
True.
Yeah. So another thing, just I want to know. So do you think that for this recruitment profession, is there any kind of the specific communications people has to learn, or no? It's okay the normal communication, because yeah, the few people, they are not from the English medium backgrounds. Okay, and even though they are not in English medium background, even though I have seen in the industry people are from the English medium background, that they are not ready to talk with the people, they're not outspoken. So that is the problem with the people, a lot of people I have seen in the industry. So how to overcome that particular scenario, as well as the, is there any kind of the specific communication people has to learn if they have to add up the recruitment as a job profile? So if you can give some tips to them, so it will be really helpful for them.
Absolutely. Very good question, Sudeepji. So here, recruiting is a profession. It is not taught in any colleges, not in any books. Because whatever we do as a recruiter is totally different thing as what we learn in the colleges or in the books. Because real-time experience differs. And most of the people who become recruiters, they've never studied any corporate recruiting like a big universities, because there is nothing like that. That is the first thing. Now here, you asked a question, if someone has a lesser communication skills, if someone comes with a basic communication skills, how it is going to be? Well, it is all about individual confidence. The better is my confidence, the better I can explain and communicate with the individual who is sitting in front of me. And the communication is not only going to helpful for me to excel in my job, it will open up the path for me to go to the next level of my promotion as well. Because definitely you don't want to be ruled, or I would say led by an individual who is not a proper communicator. If you need to be a good, if you have to be a good leader, if you have to be a good manager, if you want to be a proper influencer in your industry, in your company, definitely you need to be having some command over English. Well, we are not a native English speakers, we are not from America, we have our different mother tongues, everybody understands that. Despite of that, am I able to speak errorless communication, grammatically correct? If someone is able to write proper English without any grammatical mistake, if someone could able to speak proper English without any grammatical mistake, that is enough for individual to scale in this industry. So we are not looking for the Oxford level communication skills with a bigger words, heavy words, where the individual has to go and find in dictionary or in Google. Very simple tense: present simple, present past, past simple, past continuous. Only these simple way of communication is enough for any individual to excel in this industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you don't have to be the English professor to like you what someone is telling about the you have to learn the use the Oxford English and all.
Yeah,
It's not required. So only thing is that you should know how to communicate with the people. So communications means it's not only the, as you all know that it's not only the English. Other than that, the lot more things
true.
communication. It's a vast topic altogether. We don't want to divert that particular topic. Yeah. So
Yes,
that is the minimum thing is required for the as a recruiter.
very
Recruit.
true.
Yeah. So what could be the last message you want to give to the people so that yeah, they can at least they can apply in their career path. And and another thing is that I want to know exactly from the those who pass out from the college, okay,
Hmm.
very recently, do you think that they can adapt this particular profession as a recruiter, or there's some kind of the specialized course he or she has to learn, then only he or she can move into the recruiter job profile?
No, absolutely. Whoever just passed out from any colleges and possesses some decent communication skills, and if they don't want to go into coding because they don't like, and absolutely recruiting industry is always open for them, and that can help them to grow in their career as well and make money as they completed their education and they can get job. And to do the job, definitely there is a little needs little bit of training, where which they do not know in their education part, Sudhirji. So this is definitely a training of 15 days, a month, 1 month of how to do. If they learn, that's it. They can be a best recruiter in any company.
Okay. So those who are listening to us here, so I would say Suman is a IT recruiting mentor. So you can follow
Yes.
him. And if you want to build your career in recruiting professions, so you may connect with him directly in LinkedIn. He is available in the all the social media. You can
Yes.
directly connect with him, or otherwise, if you are in my followers list, so you can directly connect me, and I will be pass the message to Suman so that you can get career, so and you can build your career in that particular path. So thank
Absolutely.
you. Yeah. Thank you, Suman, for your time. So we are closing this particular discussion now itself. And anyone have any question before closing the session? So I'll give you the 1 minute of time. So if you have
Hmm.
any query or anything, so you can write it down in the comment box so that the Suman can clarify that particular query of you. Yeah.
So I really appreciate that you gave and arranged this such a beautiful conversation, and we could able to meet and share our experience with the individuals and recruiter as well. So Deepji, and as for as a last message for me to the any individual or to the recruiters or any profession, first thing they need to understand that job is for them and they are not for the job. So it means losing the job should not lose the identity of the individual, irrespective of your title, irrespective of your promotion or title or whatever the current role is. If you lose that, you should not think that you lost your everything, because job is for you. You are not for the job. Use job as a vehicle for you to go to your highest destination, that what you want out of your life. Is that a joy, a beautiful house, beautiful car, or you wanted to stay with your parents, or you wanted to earn money? Whatever could be your target, use your job as a vehicle so that you are not going to be attached when you leave your job, or when things do not go well. Because if we take a bus and bus breaks down, we will definitely take an auto and we'll go. We will not just leave the destination, right, sir? So that is how I see the job has to be, because you attach to yourself, don't attach to something which will carry you to the next level. That's what my advice to
Absolutely.
everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a great message. I don't think so. Yeah, so it's very clear. If you have any query or anything, so you can directly connect with us. So we will be clarify your doubts and all. Yeah. So thank you. So we are ending this particular broadcast now itself.
All right, thank you.